comedian. He actually kind of looks like Ray Romano. That's all I got on that one. Fucking looks like Ray Romano. I don't know if Ray Romano swallowed. Nobody. He looks like fucking Ray Romano. That's all I got. This next young, good-looking comic is making his rounds here in the New England comedy circuit. It might be your first time seeing him here, but it's certainly not going to be your last. Give it up for Mr. Matthew Heath. Everybody loves Raymond.
Thank you. Thank you for the mom from Happy Days hosting. It's been a real treat. I didn't know she had such a mouth on her, though. You kiss Richie and Joni with that mouth? I've been doing this comedy thing for a little while, folks. You know, I made a CD, I started giving it out to people. I saw Dave Coulier at one of his shows. You remember the guy who played Uncle Joey on Full House? Yeah, I gave him my CD. I didn't think it was gonna further my career or anything. I just wanted it to be 10, 20 years from now. I got a daughter, maybe, we're both sitting on the couch. She goes, "You wanna watch Full House, Dad?" And I go, "You think Dave Coulier ever listened to my comedy CD?" 30, 40 years from now, I got a granddaughter maybe, we're both sitting on the couch. She goes, "You wanna watch Full House, Grandpa?" You think Dave Coulier ever listened to my comedy CD? 60, 70 years from now, I'm lying in my deathbed, I'm in a hospital somewhere, Terms of Endearment comes on the television. You think Jeff Daniels ever listened to my comedy CD? Because by then I'll be old and dying, and I'll have forgotten who I gave my comedy CD to. And Jeff Daniels kind of looks similar to Dave Coulier. So my girlfriend wanted to get a cat recently, you guys. So I go to the Humane Society, right? Or as I like to call it, cat jail. You know, she's having a blast looking at all the cats. And I'm just like, what is with all these cats sleeping in cages? And I'm like, honey, are we gonna declaw the cat? She goes, of course not, that's inhumane. Honey, we gonna neuter the cat? She goes, oh yeah. So why the hell are we gonna declaw the cat then? She goes, don't you realize if I were to go to you and cut off the tips of your fingers, that would be essentially the same thing as declawing a cat? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'd much rather cut off the tips of my fingers. I think you can see where I'm going with this. You guys think C-3PO was made out of real gold? Or was he just gold-plated? I mean, he was pretty fucking useless as a robot, right? I mean, gay robots, that's the future. And Han Solo, for that matter, he was just some dude that owed money. That's me! Fuck C-3PO. So you know how I told you guys I was giving out my comedy CD to people? So I was giving it out to also people that that I work at a pawn shop, and I started going out to customers. There's one fella, 400-pound black man by the name of Train. He bought my CD. And he came into the store one time, he said, "Matt, I was getting it on with my girlfriend, right? And, you know, I like to have my music playing on my Xbox on shuffle." And the music was playing, and as we were in the heat of passion, all of a sudden I hear, "You think C-3PO was made out of real gold? Or was it just gold plated?" I'm kind of hoping that Dave Coulier has his music on his Xbox, and it's also on shuffle, and that one day he reunites with Alanis Morissette, and they're getting it on. You think C-3PO is made out of real gold? They hear that? That'd be great, wouldn't it? So what other animals you guys like besides cats? I'm a big dolphin fan myself. Dolphins happen to be my favorite animal. I'm sure there's a chick with a dolphin tattoo down her here somewhere, right? No? Dolphins are my favorite animal because they're the dogs of the sea, right? They're the dogs of the sea for three reasons. Reason number one, they get along with people. A dolphin sees, you know, a person, a fisherman, and they're like, "What up?" And the fisherman's like, "You're cool." Reason number two, you ever hear a crazy story about a dolphin saving a human being's life? You hear the same crazy story about dogs too, don't you? Reason number three is probably the most valid reason. Dolphins and dogs both hump people. Except dolphins go straight for the butthole. Now, I think dogs would too. They just can't dynamically get to you that way because they're not in the water. I mean, dolphins evolved backwards, basically, right? So most creatures, they came from the water, they evolved up, they went on the land, and they evolved that way, right? Dolphins came from the ocean, they went up on the land, they saw what was going on, they said, "Hey, fuck this." And they went back into the water. Which is kind of what I wish I did before I got on stage tonight. So I wrote this joke, right? And I thought it was a good joke, but I couldn't really word it properly without it being in the voice of Mitch Hedberg. You guys remember the comedian Mitch Hedberg? Anybody? All right, so if you bear with me, I'd like to do a joke for you in the voice of Mitch Hedberg. I was in Walgreens the other day. The cashier told me I earned 1,000 points. I said, "How much is that worth?" She says, $1. That means 1 point is worth 1/10 of a penny. Most places are trying to abolish the penny. Walgreens is trying to make their currency worth less. Congratulations, Walgreens. That's the joke. Anyone in the audience ever seen that movie, Hustle and Flow? No, not a lot of fans of that movie. The premise of the movie, this guy, he's an up-and-coming rapper. He wants to become famous, so he makes this mixtape. He gives it to Ludacris. He thinks Ludacris is going to make him famous. And he goes into the bathroom, and Ludacris has thrown his mixtape in the toilet. So he beats up Ludacris. I had a nightmare the other night, folks, that Dave Coulier threw my comedy CD in the toilet. And I go to beat him up, and then Uncle Joey kicks my ass. Ain't that about a beat?
What do you guys think the teacher's gonna be like today?
Who cares?
He's probably gonna suck.
He's probably gonna be white.
I hope he's cute.
See?
Hope he actually teaches us something.
Shut
Shut
up.
There I am late, you guys. I didn't know where they were sending me. So your teacher leave me anything to teach you guys?
Oh, we haven't had a teacher since the beginning of the year.
He quit on the first day.
Damn, well, I guess I can improvise. What kind of class is this?
This is supposed to be English, but are there no books in here?
Okay, well, I guess I'll start by taking attendance then. Here, just write your names down on this piece of paper. Did you guys ever notice that white people all think they have religious names like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? And then we meet some Spanish people, and they got names like Jesus and Angel. And we're like, you win.
Que demonios.
Yeah, speaking of this being an English class, did you ever notice that Jesus' buddies were the only people who ever wrote about him? How come there's no Book of Joseph? Dear Diary, some supernatural being knocked up my wife. I don't know if I believe her, but she scares me.
I don't think you're supposed to talk about religion in school, sir.
I mean, it's not like Jesus wrote anything either. I mean, hey, the guy performed some miracles and all, but he was as illiterate as hell.
Dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
Seriously.
You got quite a mouth on you, young man. Is that how your father speaks around you?
Nah, it's how your little sister speaks when she's choking on my cock.
That reminds me, young fella. I was watching the movie League of Their Own the other night. You know that scene where Tom Hanks says there's no crying in baseball? Well, it reminded me of when I was in Little League, and there was those parents that used to reduce their kids to tears. And I realized I had a great dad. He just didn't even show up to my Little League games.
So you like movies, mister?
Hell yeah, I like movies. You guys seen the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I've always wondered which Ninja Turtle April O'Neil would have had sex with. Which one do you guys think it would have been?
Mikey, obviously.
Definitely Donatello.
Fuck that. Raphael.
Galileo.
What the hell? Galileo? Is that some sort of fifth turtle? Did he not mutate all the way? He was kind of slow, right? He was teenage and mutant, but he didn't have the capacity to be a ninja. You're all wrong, by the way. Raphael was too mean. Mikey partied too much. Donatello was too much of a nerd. Which one do you think it was, little lady? Which one of the Ninja Turtles would you sleep with if you were April O'Neil?
Leo?
None of them, you sick woman. They're turtles.
Oh my god, this guy's weird.
Que locura.
What's the matter, mister? Someone break your heart?
Don't even get me started on women.
Oh my god.
Are you one of the gluten-free broads?
I'm actually allergic to gluten.
Bullshit you are. Gluten? Gluten it's one of those things that's been around for like 3 years. Now all of a sudden people are allergic to it. I can't tell you how many dates I've been on, and some girl tells me she can't eat gluten. So instead of eating at my favorite pizza joint, we have to eat at the most expensive restaurant in town. You know, when a girl says I'm gluten-free, what she really means is I'm a high-maintenance bitch.
Maybe you should try online dating?
Oh, I've tried online dating. It doesn't work. And I'm what you would call culturally Jewish, because there's no option for Catholics on jdate.com. But I figured I've dated a lot of Jewish women in the past. My chances are as good as any to meet someone on the site. I didn't meet anybody. I actually forgot I even had a profile on the damn site. I called them up, I said, "Hey, J-Date, I'm not using your website anymore. Could I get my money back?" The guy said, "Sure, you get your money back." I was like, "Thanks, man, because Christmas time is coming up, and I really needed that money." Because Jews don't celebrate Christmas.
You're a bigger dork than Brian, and I hate Brian.
Yeah, fuck Brian.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't do well with the ladies these days. I mean, I was even looking at a billboard on my way over here, and it had this really attractive girl on it. And I was thinking, oh yeah. And I noticed what the billboard was advertising. It said, "Come get yourself checked out, HIV.org. And I thought, maybe this girl's not for me.
You're fucking nasty, dude.
Hey, is that your cell phone I see out? Put away your cell phone. Who gives you these damn cell phones anyway? The government?
Claro que sí.
Oh, that's real nice. There's so many things the government could be giving out that are better than cell phones. Textbooks, dental, birth control.
Whatever, man.
Well, you'll know I'm right when you're pregnant, toothless, and you don't know how to read. We'll all be okay because you'll have your precious little cell phone.
I guess you're kind of funny.
You think so? Well, then I got a joke for you. So a sandwich walks into a bar, right? And the bartender says to the sandwich, "You look kind of upset there, sandwich. What's eating you there?" And the sandwich says, "I'm a recovering alcoholic. And I haven't had a drink in years, but I'm kind of at my tipping point today. My wife left me. She took the kids with her. I got nowhere to stay. I'm sleeping on a friend's couch. You know? I'm up to my eyeballs in debt. In fact, I'm drowning in debt. I often think of hanging myself with a belt. Although, it really wouldn't work out that well, being that I'm a sandwich and I don't have a neck. The last time I had a drink, I was in a fatal car accident, instantly killing my brother Reuben, whose name was actually, just ironically, Reuben. He was actually a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So bartender, will you please set me up with that drink there?" And the bartender says to the sandwich, "We don't serve food here."
That was the worst goddamn joke I've ever heard in my life.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Dude, that stunk.
It was a little racist too, man.
True.
Racist? It was about a sandwich.
It was about a black sandwich, motherfucker.
What?
You said that the brother named Reuben was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, all right? And then the dude kicks him out, and here's the thing. Everybody knows peanut butter was invented by niggas.
I think this is reverse racism.
No. Settle down there, Specs. Young Joel here has a point. There's no such thing as reverse racism. Reverse racism is a fancy term made up by rich white people who don't even know shit about the treatment of black people in America. I mean, if a black guy is going up a down escalator and a white man hated him for it, I suppose that would be reverse racism. I guess also if you rewound a VHS copy of Do the Right Thing, that would be reverse racism. But other than that, there's no such thing.
First of all, that's real. Secondly, that sandwich is still racist. And third, what the fuck is a VHS?
Hey, give it up for that last girl, Kayla, everybody, man. She's funny, right? Yeah. I was buying her drinks backstage, and I didn't know she was gay, man. Boy, was I betting on the wrong horse. You know what I mean? So I'm a high school English teacher. And it's Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. Hey, fucking yeah, I started teaching my kids the Christmas Carol this past month. The administration got mad at me, though, you know? They said it's religious. You can't teach a Christmas Carol in school. In fact, if you ever do it again, we're not going to renew your contract. You'll be out of a job if you teach a Christmas Carol. I guess they were trying to scare the dickens out of me. A lot of readers in this crowd. I like that. Good for you, folks. You guys think that, you guys think the sperm that makes it to the egg is the most confident of all the sperm? Like he knows he's gonna be the one to make it to the egg? He's like, listen, all you motherfuckers! I'm gonna be the one that makes it to the egg. Apparently, the main sperm in the movie of My Balls is played by Samuel L. Jackson. And he's fighting his way out of there like Mace Windu. All the other sperm are played by the whitest of the white actors. You got John Cusack, Ross from Friends, another John Cusack. Fight my way out of this white man's penis. All right, I think that joke's like 3 lines too long. This is my impression of why men will never understand feminism. This is why men will never understand feminism. So a flower is talking to a piece of dog shit, right? And the flower says to the dog shit, we should have equal pay and rights at the workplace. And the dog shit goes, poof. Equal pay and rights at the workplace. I mean, come on. We're dog shit. We're outside all day here in the hot sun. And the flower goes, yeah, we're outside all day in the hot sun too. And the dog shit goes, I mean, well, come on, you're a beautiful flower. I mean, look at your petals. And the flower goes, don't touch me, you piece of dog shit. And that's why men will never understand feminism. This is my impression of Tony Soprano sending a text message. If Tony Soprano was still around this day and age, and he was still alive. How do you get the fucking pasta emoji on this thing, eh? Hey, Paulie, how do you get the fucking pasta emoji on this thing, eh? Oh, you gotta press the little picture of the cheeseburger, the rest of the food emojis pop up there, eh? Now for the rest of the text message. See you later, you Russian whore. Pasta emoji. All right, I think I got time for one more. This is my impression of Robert De Niro sending a tweet. What do you mean that's too many fucking letters? Thank you very much, guys.
So, are you gonna teach us anything today?
Well, I was kind of banking on your real teacher having a lesson plan for me. So I guess I'll just wing it.
Jesus Christ, why don't you just let us chill?
Man, I feel bad for you kids, you know? It's almost like kids are their own race of people. Before people can discriminate against about anything, before people are discriminating against about anything, they get discriminated for being children. You can't hate someone for their skin color or sexual preferences, but it's perfectly fine to hate kids. Goddamn kids with their bikes and their Pokemon and their Snapchats. It's crazy.
Do you expect us to write any of this down?
Nah, I'm just getting warmed up. Here's something you should write down in your notebooks.
We don't have any notebooks.
Yo, we don't even have pens, man.
Well, just remember this because it's important. Dolphins are like the dogs of the sea. You get me? Dolphins are like dogs for 3 reasons. 1, they get along with people. A fisherman sees a dolphin in the ocean, and the dolphin's like, "What's up?" The fisherman's like, "You're cool." Reason number 2. Have you ever heard a crazy story about a dog saving a human being's life? You hear the same crazy stories about dolphins, don't you? Reason number 3, and I think this is the most solidifying reason of all. Turn off your cell phone, young lady. This is the most solidifying reason of all. Dolphins and dogs both hump people. Except dolphins go straight for the butthole. I think dogs would too. They just can't dynamically get to you that way because they're not in the water.
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
Come on, it's not like I drew you a picture.
I'm drawing a picture.
Let me see that.
Oh, it's mine.
Wow, now that's education.
Ay, señorita, le gustan los animales.
I do. That reminds me of the time my girlfriend wanted to get a cat.
I thought you were single.
Listen, princess, I'm trying to tell a story. So my girlfriend wanted to get a cat. So I take her to the Humane Society, right? Or as I like to call it, cat jail. And she's having a blast looking at all the cats. And I say to her, "Hey, honey, we gonna neuter the cat?" She goes, "Oh, yeah." I say to her, "Honey, we gonna declaw the cat?" She goes, "Don't you realize if I were to go to you and cut off the tips of your fingers, that would be essentially the same thing as declawing a cat?" I don't know about you guys, but I'd much rather cut off the tips of my fingers, and I think you can see where I'm going with this.
Well, actually, vasectomies aren't too bad.
That's enough out of you, young man. You kids like impressions?
Nope.
I do.
Well, this is my impression of the late, great Mitch Hedberg.
Who's Vic Hedgenerd?
Well, he wouldn't have been on your Wheaties box, meathead. I was in Walgreens the other day. The cashier told me I earned 1,000 points. I said, "How much is that worth?" She told me $1. Now, most places are trying to abolish the penny. Walgreens is trying to make their currency worth less. Congratulations, Walgreens.
We still don't know who that is.
Well, you kids probably watch cartoons, right?
Sometimes.
Well, this is my impression of the Hamburglar calling a pawn shop. The McDonald's Hamburglar calling a pawn shop. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, lots of buddies pawn. How can I help you? This is the Hamburglar. You guys do loans on hamburgers? No. What do you guys do, loans on cheeseburgers? No, sir, we don't do loans on food. It's perishable. Do you think I stole these burgers just because my name's the Hamburglar? You know something, I used to work. I haven't been in a commercial in 20 goddamn years.
I don't really remember the Hamburglar ever talking. He just kind of said, rubble, rubble.
Well, that's what he sounds like now. Here's a cartoon that you kids might know. You know, the Jetsons? This is my impression of your favorite cartoon family, the Jetsons, getting into a car accident. Oh my God, I'm plummeting to my death! I don't know where the joke ends, because they never specify where the ground level is on the Jetsons.
I remember the Jetsons and the Hamburglar.
Well, this is my impression of the Hamburglar catching his son masturbating. Hey, son, you ain't beating your meat in there, are you?
Oh my God, that is nasty. How are you our teacher?
You women have a problem with everything. This is my impression of why men will never understand feminism. This is why men will never understand feminism. So a flower's talking to a piece of dog shit, right? And the flower says to the dog shit, we should have equal pay and rights at the workplace. And the dog shit says, equal pay and rights at the workplace. I mean, come on, we're dog shit. We're outside all day here in the hot sun. The flower says, we're outside all day in the hot sun too. And the dog shit says, yeah, but we stink. And the flower says, it's true, you do stink. And the dog shit goes, I mean, come on, you're a beautiful flower. I mean, look at your petals. And the flower says, don't touch me, you piece of dog shit. And that's why men will never understand feminism.
¿Qué sobre habla él?
It's a simile. You can write that one down.
Actually, that's incorrect. It was a metaphor. You didn't use like or as.
Whatever. You know, kids, I gotta be honest with you. This whole substitute teaching thing isn't really my bag. I'm really just a failed stand-up comedian.
And the failed teacher, too.
And if there's any advice I can give you about comedy, it's that comedians should never date other comedians. Do you know why?
Why?
Hepatitis, that's why.
Yeah.
I know. I remember when I first started doing comedy long ago. I made this comedy demo CD. I was giving it out to people left and right. I saw Dave Coulier at one of his shows. Remember the guy who played Uncle Joey on Full House?
Oh, I love that show.
I know. I didn't think it was going to further my career or anything. I just wanted to be 10, 20 years from now. I got a daughter, maybe. We're both sitting on the couch. She goes, you want to watch Full House, Dad? You think Dave Coulier ever listened to my comedy CD? 30, 40 years from now, I have a granddaughter. She says, you want to watch Fuller House, Grandpa? I go, you think Dave Coulier ever listened to my comedy CD? What the fuck are you talking about, Grandpa? Because my granddaughter will have a little mouth on her, you know? 60, 70 years from now, I'll be lying in my deathbed. I'll be in a hospital somewhere. Terms of endearment will come on the television. You think Jeff Daniels ever listened to my comedy CD? Because by then I'll be old and dying. Well, I've forgotten who I gave my comedy CD to. And Jeff Daniels kind of looks similar to Dave Coulier.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I know! Have you kids ever seen that movie Hustle and Flow?
Yeah. Wait. What?
Well, with the exception of young Joel over here, I'll tell you what happens in the movie. A young rapper is trying to make it big, so he gives his mixtape to Ludacris. Then he finds out that Ludacris had thrown his mixtape in the toilet. So the guy beats up Ludacris.
Yeah, cool fucking story.
I know. So I had this nightmare the other night, kids. And Dave Coulier threw my comedy CD in the toilet. And I went to go beat him up. And Uncle Joey kicked my ass.
Wow, you really are a loser.
I think he's just misunderstood.
Man, fuck that dude. I think he's an asshole.
Agreed.
Yo también.
Well, I think even though this wasn't a conventional English class, I learned something about being a writer, even though you may be the dumbest writer on the planet.
Well, kids, let me tell you one thing before the bell rings that might be important. I think that transgenders should be able to pee wherever they want. But if they're in the men's room, they can't get mad if I leave the seat up. Because they're men now. We don't get mad about that sort of thing.
Oh, was on TBS.com the other day. You know, the television network. I was trying to figure out where in Connecticut they film a lot of TV shows. TBS films a lot of TV shows in Connecticut. And I figured, hey, I could let them know of my great ideas for TV shows, and they could film mine. So there's a link on the TBS website that says how to suggest ideas to TBS. And I'm like, this is great. And I click on it, and it says, we do not accept third-party ideas at TBS. So I decided, hey, I have all these great ideas for TV shows. I'm going to go to the Funny Bone, the Hartford Funny Bone, and pitch those ideas for TV shows on stage. What do you guys think? All right. So my first idea for a TV show is, you guys remember the show Alf? Yeah. So Alf isn't quite Alf. He's still a puppet, but he's the puppet that played Alf on television. So Alf is the struggling actor that once played Alf. And he lives in Hollywood. He has celebrity neighbors like Robert Downey Jr. and Johnny Depp. But he's got a lot of problems because he's kind of a has-been celebrity. He's got all this Alf merchandise piling up in his house. He's got like weed in his Alf lunchbox, drinking vodka out of his Alf thermos. The name of the show is Gordon. Because Gordon Shumway was Alf's real name. Right? This guy knows what I'm talking about. So my other brilliant idea for a TV show is, remember in the 70s, they had a sitcom about teenagers in Wisconsin, and it took place 20 years back in the 50s? Yeah, it was called Happy Days. And remember, in the 90s, they had a show about teenagers in Wisconsin set 20 years back in the 70s. It's called That 70s Show. Why the hell do we not have a sitcom right now about teenagers in Wisconsin set in the 90s? It doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, I would play one of the teenagers myself. I mean, I'm roughly those actors' ages when they were in the... But, I'm too bloated. They want fucking good-looking people. You just get some young, good-looking people. That's what America wants, right? So I went up to Boston recently with my girlfriend, and I went into Cheers, right? And the place I'm sitting down says George Wendt sat here on opening night, and I was like, hey, I'm sitting in Norm's seat on Cheers. This is like the mecca for comedy writers. I have to use this opportunity to write jokes, right? So the only thing I had at the time was Cheers napkins. So I wrote down a few. This is entitled Thoughts from Norm's Seat at Cheers. The first one is, I went to Cheers because I thought everybody would know my name. It turned out everyone just hated me for talking about the TV show so much. There's a lot more Asians and homosexuals at the real Cheers than the one on television. My Boston has changed. Does anyone but fat people use the word mosey? That's just something I've always wondered. I asked an employee, what's the worst part of working at Cheers? And he said, why, nothing. And I say to him, are you just saying that because you're wearing that headset? And he goes, they hear everything. Which brings me to my third idea for a TV show, which is a reality show that takes place at the real Cheers, right? And it would be about young, good-looking people that have no idea what the TV show Cheers was all about, but they're young and good-looking. That's what America wants, right?